So Josh and I have spoken at a very high level about two broad themes. One is deploying AI as tools that further the human good, human flourishing, and second, the importance of a political process of democracy in ensuring that that happens. But we also thought that it would be important to have a very powerful, practical illustration of both of those points, the point about technology for good and democratic participation as part of that good. So I'm delighted, therefore, to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Lida Arnello, who is postdoctoral researcher at Democritus. She's head of the AI for Culture team and curator of AiTHERION, and I quote, "a space that fosters technology-driven cultural experiences on ancient philosophy." What could be more exciting than that? Lida.
Thank you very much. I'm actually delighted to be here. I think it's a great pleasure to be in this pivotal moment, I think, for how we can go forward with artificial intelligence, hopefully with the help of philosophy and philosophical ideas. As you said, Professor Tassioulas, I am from NCSR Democritus. Probably most of you know the research center. I just wanted to point out that apart from the rigorous research in artificial intelligence that we do in Democritus, in the Institute of Informatics and Telecommunications, we strive to always watch the ethical aspects of artificial intelligence, and we have various actions towards that vision. So AiTHERION, the space I'm going to present today, is actually one big project leading towards this end. I think today can help very much in broadening and enriching a much needed dialogue. So I will be presenting, as I said, AiTHERION. AiTHERION is, okay, perfect. AiTHERION resulted from a project, a 3.5-year project led by, that comprised a multidisciplinary team of 50 people that work together tirelessly, including philosophers, developers, artists, museologists, and we all had to work together towards a common goal. The goal was to find a way to exhibit ancient Greek philosophy and ancient Greek ideas through interactive exhibitions, so using cutting-edge technologies in order to make the subject engaging for visitors, for people. In this project, we were partners with the Greek Ministry of Culture. It was funded by the Greek state and the European Union. And as you see, it is here in the Athens Conservatoire. It will be here for 4 more years. For sure, and we'll see maybe more. And it's very happily situated here in the center of the city because it's right next to the archaeological space of Aristotle's Lyceum. So it was really very important for us for this space to be here. As I imagine you're wondering, how does anyone exhibit abstract philosophical ideas through exhibitions? Well, it wasn't an easy task. It was a very big challenge for all of us, for all the team. So in order to develop these exhibitions, we turned to philosophy itself for inspiration. It actually dawned on us that in order to make this exhibition interesting for people and true to ancient Greek philosophy, we should create not mere exhibitions, but philosophical experiences. So this was the task at hand, and this great team of people found the way to do it through these 4 components. Visitors would have to reflect on ideas with the help of the exhibits. They would have to interact not only with exhibits, but with other visitors and the facilitators of the experience. They would have to engage in dialogue concerning ideas, forming arguments and expressing opinions. And finally, they would have to make decisions. Decisions were very important. They were the vehicle to make people think about ideas and how they would react in situations. So this was the way forward. So in AiTHERION, values lead to actions. Every decision the visitors make is embedded with values, something that I think is very, very valuable in our discussion about AI ethics as well. So this brings us to our first exhibition. We have actually created 2 exhibitions. One is for younger children. I will show you the main version that is for adults and the older students. So the first exhibition is Democracy and Eudaimonia, centered maybe around the 2 great contributions of ancient Greece to the world. So this exhibition is centered around a main question: how can we live a good life? We are wondering about it throughout the whole exhibition. People are wondering with us. And of course, we're wondering whether democracy is actually the way to achieve the good life together as a community. So one of the first things we wanted to achieve was to simulate how in a democracy your experience of life is influenced by other people, your fellow citizens. So you're not alone in this society. Other people influence how you experience democracy. So for that reason, we created a group philosophical experience. That means that a visitor cannot come alone. You cannot just enter and sit by yourself. You have to book a slot and enter a group. And even if you come with some of your friends, it is sure that there will be other people there that you have never met before. So people like in democracy that are your fellow citizens. And that means that the group is together from the entrance until the exit, and they have this experience together. It's a shared experience. They actually are citizens of a fictional polity. The experience, as you see, has 3 parts. This is actually a sketch, a plan of the space here at the Athens Conservatoire. All the spaces, all the experience is connected through a story, a scenario. We thought that storytelling was the best way to engage people and help them think on ideas. So in the first space, the motivation space, where they see a 360 projection, visitors are actually introduced in this digital world. They are informed of their mission and get some clues as to what the experience will entail. They learn which questions are going to guide their exploration. In the second space, the exploration space, visitors can explore further ideas and values. This actually happens on 2 levels. There are exhibits that are individual, where someone can go and reflect by themselves and express their own opinions and see where that takes them. And there is a collective exhibit where we have dialogue amongst the people of the group with the help of the facilitators, where they make a collective decision as a group. And there, in the discussion, they will have to exchange arguments, express their opinions, and sometimes change their minds from the opinions expressed by others in order to reach a shared decision. Finally, in the reflection space, the last space, the group gathers again in order to discuss a final dilemma. So they use all the tools, all the notions they have from the previous parts of the exhibition. They have now the tools, the philosophical tools, in order to rethink what the dilemma we're posing to them and reach a decision. In the end, their final choice is embodied through the exit they will choose to leave the space. So exit 1 is one answer, and exit 2 is another answer. So, as I mentioned before, it was very important for us to make this experience engaging. So we thought that placing people in a story, a fictional scenario, and giving them roles would help them enter this atmosphere of reflection and philosophical thinking. So meet Ethra. Ethra is a digital entity. She's actually the center character of this exhibition. She's actually a machine. She has countless data available. She can do infinite calculations, and she's constantly learning. However, despite of her abilities, she cannot understand how people make decisions based on ethical criteria. I will give here an example. In natural sciences, calculations and mathematical models cannot show us the causes of the natural phenomena. They can only describe, but they cannot explain. So Ethra faces the same problem. As a machine, she understands quantities, but what about qualities? How do we measure good, justice, or generosity? In modernity, I think sometimes it seems like we think everything is measurable. So, however, the discourse around ethical AI has revived this age-old distinction, and since many of you are Aristotelian philosophers, I think you know better than anyone else that many of the pillars of modernity cannot give us a solution to bridge this distinction. Ethra symbolizes this discussion. So it is the first step we take working our way into AI ethics in AiTHERION. So the next exhibitions will dive even deeper into this subject of AI ethics. So for the time being, she created this space, this world, in order to understand how people think and make decisions. Ethra wants to understand qualities, so she's learning by watching our history. She scans everything, and she's confused by some things. So enter Socrates. She comes across a strange incident in our history. Socrates was accused of disrespecting the gods and corrupting the youth, and while he believed that the accusations were unjust, he accepted his punishment. He did not escape, as his students suggested, and he drank the hemlock and died. The man who examined how humans can live a good life, opted for death. Ethra is particularly confused by this story of Socrates, and in her effort to understand how values, how qualities make people, lead humans to make decisions, she realizes that there are many levels of added complexity in our decisions. How can justice lead to a good life when justice leads you to death? So she created this world full of thought experiments in order to collect data on how people make decisions. Let us hear her invitation to this world.
This is AiTHERION, my digital world. This is where philosophy meets democracy. Here, you will face yourself and the others. If you want to escape my world, you have to make decisions. You must answer a dilemma. It's the only way for me to understand you. Welcome.
I'm happy you like it. That means that you'll hear her call and come do the experience, which is what we want. So this is a map of her digital world. It is actually a place out of space and time. Every island you see here represents an exhibit, and there are different spaces to explore ideas, questions, and problems. Each exhibit is inactive. It requires the visitor's input, the visitor's participation, to fulfill its purpose. So visitors, through their constant input, direct the path used to explore an idea. So before entering the exhibition, visitors promised to help Ethra in her quest, but what they realized along the way, it was that she was never the protagonist of the story. Each and every visitor is the protagonist there. Their thoughts, their reflection, and their values are the true protagonists of the story. So this is, as said before, a fully human-centric experience. And it is that actually ensures the true engagement of visitors. So let me give you just one small example of an exhibit to see how this takes place. Here is one of the exhibits, the Ring of Gyges. I am sure you all know the myth, the Platonic myth about the powerful ring that makes people invisible and allows them to avoid any punishment. So the exhibit starts with exactly the same premise. You're told you have a ring that makes you invisible, you can do anything you want and avoid all punishment. What will you do? We don't ask them to reveal what they will do, but we ask some follow-up questions, and after that, a dialogue between Socrates and Glaucon begins, where in this dialogue people can offer their input about justice, about the nature of justice, in several parts, and the dialogue continues according to their input. So what I also wanted to stress is that in its exhibit, we keep all the choices of people. We keep the interactions. So this is gathered, this data is gathered, and can help us create better exhibits, but it can help us also discuss ideas. So we can use this data as starting points for more discussions. So it's the data of the people's opinion. So far, we have had 3,000 people visit the exhibition. Around 500 are students, primary school students and high school students, and the rest are adults or older children that came as a general public. They have interacted with each other and the exhibits, and after an experience of 2 hours, so they stay a long time with us, and they're not bored, as far as we can tell, people seem to appreciate this chance, this opportunity to slow down. Slow down, think on hard subjects, think on ideas, and actually exchange opinions with other people, respecting other people's opinions and trying to achieve a consensus or even just have dialogue with other people on pressing matters. People really seem to enjoy it, and I think it is the way forward. It shows something. So after the first months of operation, we have the first data, and I would like to just demonstrate 3 of the things that we have found out in the Ring of Gyges. So in the first question, which after they have taken the ring, they have thought about what they're going to do with it. They didn't tell us, but they have thought something. We asked them if they would do otherwise, if they were visible. And here, 29% says no. The blue answers are more on the Socrates way of thinking. And 71% admits that yes, it's something I wouldn't do if I would be seen. So as the dialogue progresses between the 2 philosophers, at some point the philosophers ask them, if they think it is the fear of punishment that prevents us from treating others unjustly. And here it is interesting because only 32% say that they think it's the fear of punishment. So obviously the rest think that there is an intrinsic value in justice. There is something that makes us want to be just. And it's just not the mere punishment. So the third question, the final question, after all the dialogue they have witnessed and joined, we ask them if they will keep the ring or leave it. And what is very interesting is that 60% of the people in the end of the exhibit say they would leave the ring. They don't think it would help them have a happy life. So I think this is very interesting. It could start a lot of conversations about human flourishing and eudaimonia. So I would like to end contradicting what we many times say. We say that AiTHERION is a philosophy hub, but I want to say that I think it is something more. We envision it to be a virus, a philosophical virus, spreading across countries in the whole world, hopefully, and we hope to create interconnected exhibitions around the world. It's a digital experience, so it's easy to transfer in other parts of the world. So twin exhibitions like Democracy and Eudaimonia that can happen here and simultaneously in London or in the US and in China, and people will see how other people in other countries answer the same questions. It is very interesting and very important to have this dialogue and this interconnection amongst people around the world. And the second one is also to have exhibitions that are on the crossroads. So exhibitions that bridge ancient Greek philosophy with British philosophical tradition, with ancient Chinese philosophical tradition, and these are more spaces of contemplation and dialogue. So I think this will be our dream and our vision, and hopefully it will help move forward the dialogue on AI ethics as well. I just want to share with you that through this link and the QR code, you can access our website where you will find the slots. You can book your seat. In the next 2 months, we will be open. We have open access to the exhibition until the middle of July, and then we will start again in September for school visits and the general public. So this is all for me. Thank you very much.